We have been married for 10 years, and on Monday evening I was sitting at the kitchen table with my wife. Sandra, or I call her Sandy, prepared a pretty standard dish. The pan bubbles and squeaks. Sandy even put in some cauliflower cheese that's nice and crispy. Perfect, just the way I like it, with leftover roast beef from last night and pickles on the side. She brought me a pint of my favorite beer. I guess having a strong beer on a work night sometimes isn't a problem, but I've known her for about 14 years. Something is coming up now, and I probably won't like it. And so it happened. I'm going on a date with one of the guys from work on Friday night, and before you start worrying about it, it's just dinner. There won't be any sex, so you can put that idea out of your head. You never know what I expected, but not this. Why? I demonstrated outward calm. Everything was boiling inside me. I want a little excitement, something for myself. Everything became a little ordinary. I think I understand where this is going. So now it's my fault that everything became normal. You didn't say that when I took you to the Red Lion for dinner and dancing on Saturday last week, or on Friday when we won the pub quiz. On the contrary, you were over the moon because of the bottle of champagne we won that evening. It was us. I want something for myself, and believe me, there will be no sex. It's just dinner. So who is this guy? And when did you decide to do this with him? This is Jonathan. He's been asking me for weeks, but I've always turned him down. Today, he asked again and insisted it was just dinner. No sex, he promised. So I said yes. I kind of figured out that it was the new guy, Jonathan. She mentioned him a few times a few months ago, but then she stopped mentioning him. One day I dropped by her office when she forgot to bring lunch and saw him. You know when you instantly dislike some creepy shit? Well, that's how it was. And we met several times in the city. I don't want you to leave, but it will be your choice. But I'm warning you. I don't trust him, and I don't trust you about the no-sex thing. Don't forget, I saw him. The next 2 days, the house was cold. On Wednesday, she returned home late. She had a bag from the supermarket, but 2 more hands were peeking out of it. She hid one bag inside the other. She was hiding something, and it didn't bode well. While she was preparing dinner, I took a shower and looked into the far corner of her wardrobe. There was another bag with a sexy blue satin dress and a new pair of stockings. I couldn't take it out without revealing what I had found. Well, what if it was a surprise for me? Doubtful, of course. On Thursday, I left the house at the usual time, but called work and said I was sick. I had a lot to do. It was freezing Thursday night, and she told me they would be leaving early on Friday, so by the time I got home from work, she would most likely be gone. She probably didn't want me to see her new dress. I didn't see this coming. I had to give my scheduled speech earlier. Where are you going on your date? I will not tell you. You'll show up and ruin everything. You need to think about this, about what you are doing by going on a date with another man and not your husband. And don't tell me where you're going. I won't stand for this. If you leave, I'll throw you out on the street. She looked at me in amazement. You won't do this. You love me. I really love you, but do you want to check it? She looked down. And I assume your company has a morals policy? I'll find out. If you don't do this, I'll be fired. Do you want to take a risk? I finished my speech. If you go on a date with him, I won't be here when you get back, with or without sex. I think that bothered her. She had been warned. It was even colder in bed at night. I left for work early so that I wouldn't have to face her in the morning, but would return home early. I got home. Her car was parked there. I went inside, but didn't make myself known. I waited 15 minutes after the shower stopped running and went upstairs to our bedroom. She stood there in a satin dress. She looked stunning. That's why you're leaving early. You don't want me to see the new dress. I picked up the empty stocking pack on the bed. She looked embarrassed. So you're not going to have sex with him, but you're going to go on a date looking like a high-class escort. I was tempted to use the word prostitute or whore, but that would probably be too much for now. There was still a chance before she walked out the door. When we went to dance at the Red Lion, I was wearing a blouse, a skirt, and tights. I didn't have stockings, but Jonathan bought them. And you bought him a new dress. Who paid for this? I paid. Money from our joint account? Yes, of course. No, you didn't pay for it. We did it. And since I transferred most of the money into this account, now you're using my money to dress up for your boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. Then why are you dating him? I want something different, exciting. The doorbell rang. I went downstairs. She followed me. It was Jonathan. I could tell he was surprised to see me. Now that the situation was at an impasse, I gave her a choice. If you put one foot out the door, we'll break up. No, that won't happen. You love me. Do you want to try taking risks? Jonathan smiled at her, extended his hand, and said, Sandy, it's time to go. This seemed to force her to make a decision. She went out the door. I pushed past them. Sandra. She looked at me. I took the envelope with the divorce papers out of my back pocket, took off my wedding ring, placed it inside, and sealed the envelope. I handed it to her. She didn't take it. Jonathan still had his hand outstretched, so I placed the envelope in his hand. I looked at him. When you're done fucking her, give it to her. I walked up to the side of the house and picked up the for sale sign that had been there since I contacted the real estate agents and attached it to the fence post. Sandra stood with her mouth wide open, leaning against the doorframe. I walked past her back into the house and picked up my backpack and large suitcase. He got out and threw his luggage into the back seat of his Mondeo. I turned to Sandy and said, I'll be back tomorrow to pick up the rest of my things. Make sure he's not in the house. Pointing to Jonathan. She collapsed on the floor, bursting into tears. Now you can go on dates and fuck whoever you want. You can't talk to her like that. Jonathan pushed me. Oh, so sweet. I was glad that the cameras were recording everything. I stepped forward and kneed him in the stomach as hard as I could. He fell and began to feel sick. Sandra lay on the floor crying, looking up at me. Don't mess with me. See you tomorrow. I went to my parents' house. They were waiting for me. On Saturday, I went to pick up some more of my things. Jonathan wasn't there. She begged me to stay. I told her that if she goes out on dates with work colleagues dressed like that, it shows that she doesn't respect me, and it's only a matter of time before she goes astray. And I'm not going to wait for that to happen. I suggested that she find somewhere to live. Since I already had a suitable offer for a house, she'll get half. I packed everything I wanted and left for a new life without looking back.